How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at VHS the series. This is from 2018, and even though I'm a huge VHS fan, I hadn't really heard anyone talking about this. I actually stumbled across it by accident. I went to IMDb to see if they had announced any VHS movies after Beyond, so I went to the first VHS and went to the connections page, and sadly, no news about post Beyond, but I did notice amongst all the listings of the movies, something for VHS the series, and I was like, what is this? I've never heard of this. And when I clicked on it, I saw the poster, and I think the poster had popped up in search results before, and I thought it was just some unofficial thing. But no, it's official. It's in the VHS canon. And I was like, okay, what is this? I clicked on it, and instantly felt a wave of cringe reading some of the things to be found there. This is actually a 4-part miniseries made for Snapchat. Oh, that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea. VHS, the first two, were real and raw, and they felt like indie filmmakers giving us something cool. Then we got VHS viral, and I can only assume whoever decided to make VHS a Snapchat series is the same bonehead idiot that decided VHSs could go viral. And I don't like also, you look at the poster, VHS this time around stands for Video Horror Shorts. I guess to justify why they're on your phone and not on a VHS tape, but oh my gosh, that absolutely does suck. And I went into this absolutely ready to hate it, and I think like Viral, where the idea is stupider than the execution isn't great, but it's not as cringy and awful as it could have been either. I was able to find the series on YouTube. It looks like an official channel that posted them, so I'm glad I didn't have to wander into a cringy social media application. But when I got there, they all kind of suffered the same problem. First and foremost, they're all 3 to 5 minutes long, so at least it's not a huge time investment, but we also can't get into the story because it's all too short. And in turn, while there is a few good ideas in here, you can't really sink your teeth into anything because you're talking 3 to 5 minutes when most shorts in the VHS series are like 10 to 20. You're in, you see something maybe kind of cool, and then you're out. And while it's not as cringy as I expected it to be, there are some fellow kid style moments in here, especially in the second short. And it just, yeah, no, I don't like the smartphones, I don't like being filmed in portrait, and I don't like that this wasn't real and grungy and edgy, like VHS is supposed to be. It's a little too cleaned up, it's a little too for the kids, even though it isn't as terrible as it could be. So yeah, I will say, they're not the worst thing ever. We do get a few clever ideas, there are some fun VHS monsters in here, and there's no short that absolutely sucks, but it's just going in, giving us something that doesn't feel right for the series, and not making it long enough that I can really sink my teeth into it. Overall, I really am glad that this series failed, because if we went from the VHS trilogy to VHS being a Snapchat series, oh, I am glad this idea sunk and died, and that Shudder would eventually take this thing over and save it. Oh my gosh, I am so glad that they saved it. But I guess in order to talk about this more specifically, let's take a closer look at each segment. I'm gonna do a few mini reviews for the segments. No major spoilers, but let's break down and analyze each one. We open up with Stray Dog, directed by L. Gustavo Cooper, and stars Chloe Gonzalez. In this one, you get teens at a slumber party. If you're gonna have someone recording on their smartphone, logical characters to start off with. They hear some scratching, some noises outside, and it turns out to be a cute little puppy, a funny subversion of expectations. However, the puppy has the glowing eyes, And again, I love a horror twist on a real world concept. You know how you take a photo with the flash on of your dog and he has the robot eyes? Well, now we have a short based on that, and we get a creepy, cute little puppy. A funny enough idea, and I will say when we get to the over-the-top moments towards the end, that is fun enough, but they do make a bafflingly stupid decision where midway through the short they shift away from the puppy, and I'm like, this short's called Stray Dog, that was your gimmick here. So yeah, they shift away from the puppy, cool enough creature, but again, not a long enough idea to really sink your teeth into it. And yeah, just a little in out, there's a cool thing. I will say the dog being named Drake, if you know name meanings, that's a fun little pun. So overall, cool enough, but doesn't really hold water. Moving on to the second one, Rearview Window, a play on the Alfred Hitchcock Rear Window. This is once again directed by L. Gustavo Cooper and stars Sydney Nicole Rogers. Now here you get a teen, she broke her leg, so she stays in the back of the car while her mom refills her prescription. And when she's in the back, she is being kind of cringy. This is the worst in regards to the fellow kids aspect, and the actress is trying to be naturalistic, but the way they fill up the screen with emojis and have her just kind of riff on random people walking by, oh, I'm gonna put the poop emoji on his stomach, it gets a little cringy. But of course, she is going to see a woman getting kidnapped and put into a van, because this is a pun on Rear Window, right? And the kidnapper sees her, and we're only 3 to 5 minutes here, so we can't do a game of cat and mouse. Like, that's what the whole thing should be building up to, right? Instead, we only have enough time for a few little jump scares. Again, another one killed by the time, and kind of killed by the cringiness. Yeah, I do like the idea of trying to do something a little more realistic, and it just doesn't quite work. I will also say she also kind of excuses it, thinking the medicine's making her hallucinate. Is that something the medicine has done before? And also, you're filming all this, couldn't you just rewind? And also, if you think you're in danger, the phone is in your hand, just call the police. Again, we don't have enough time or budget to make a well thought out cat and mouse thriller. This is the best we could do. Let's move on. The next one is called The Nest, and this is easily the best one of the whole thing. It's directed by Ben Franklin, which is ironic because this one's British, and also directed by Anthony Melton, and stars Imogen Gutney. Now, this one's about a sister who's followed her brother into the woods because he's with a woman who's not his girlfriend. That's an intriguing enough hook. Okay, I want to see what happens, and that's a good reason why she would be filming this, to get revenge at him. Well, she starts to see a few strange things in the woods, discarded items, lanterns leading the way, and maybe a weird structure, and what are they doing? Well, of course, we're going to shift into big over-the-top insanity, and I really do like how big this one goes at the end, and we get some really fun visuals towards the end. Overall, this one's really good, and they managed to pull off a good short in this length of time, but I could watch this a lot longer too. Yeah, no, this one's fun. If you only see one in the series, watch The Nest. The next one is called First Kiss, directed by Emily Haggins, and stars John Michael Simpson and Lucky Banner. Now, this one is about this guy at a Halloween party. He goes into a room with a girl. Of course, he's constantly looking over his shoulders and thinking that he sees something in the shadows, and he's nervous. And ultimately, it feels like every short horror movie on YouTube ever. They're all kind of like this, with one idea and a bunch of jump scares, and it's there. It's nothing special. Yeah, he's gonna try to go in for the kiss, and the ghost is gonna be lurking there. It's fine as just a short, but this one commits a cardinal sin. It's not found footage. What? Did they just forget what VHS was? That's terrible. I don't know if the people who made the short just didn't care. I don't know if a ghost is holding the phone and recording the whole thing. Or maybe the producers of the show just needed another short and bought something that wasn't supposed to be in this series. I don't know, but this is not found footage, and I consider that to be a cardinal sin, and this is by default the worst in the whole series. Bad episode. Okay, not really terrible, just painfully generic and not in format. Hate that. It should be found footage. Whatever. So that's the shorts. They're not great. They're not terrible. It was just a stupid idea from the start, and I'm glad we got the Shudder series instead of more of this. A painful little bad idea that someone greenlit, but we would move on to greener pastures. And again, it's mainly just the length and the badness of the initial concept. The filmmakers are trying, but what can you do in 3 to 5 minutes? At least being 4 3 to 5 minute shorts, they're not super long, so it's not a huge investment to check these out, and at least they did put them up on YouTube, so what can I complain? They're free. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my VHS series playlist, where you can see my review for the original series, plus the Kids vs. Alien spinoff. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist here. Have a good day now.